Hi friends, it's Miss Sarah. Welcome to First Chapter Friday. Today I'm going to be reading the beginning of Shark Teeth by Sherri, Winston. So if you had read the President of the Whole Fifth Grade series, that's from this author. So this is called Shark Teeth. This is by our main character Sharkita, or Kita for short. Kita is very worried. Her mother's not so great. She gets social services called all the time. She's worried that her siblings and her are going to be separated again. And while she's worrying about it, all of a sudden her mother does a complete 180 and gets a job and pulls herself together. And now she's just waiting for the other ball to drop. She's like, this can't be happening. Like something bad's gonna happen. And then Kita's dance teacher starts asking questions about her mom and prying. So she keeps up the best of appearances. Everything's great. And then she starts to wonder if she really wants everything to be great, if that's really the best thing for her and her siblings. So the beginning of Shark Teeth, Chapter 1. We stumble over Mama's best memories, like tripping on old bones. As we ran backward through time, all Mama's best memories live in the Bruckner Orange Groves, where her daddy worked as a manager once upon a time. Right over there, that's where Daddy let me drive a tractor for the first time. I wasn't but this high, Mama said, balancing her palm even with her waist parallel to the dusty ground. She let out a burst of laughter, so bright it painted everything with joy. Never mind the last time she pointed out the sacred site of her maiden tractor voyage, it was nowhere near where we stood that morning. Who needs facts, right? She was riding a vibe. My little sister turned a cartwheel. My little brother jumped up and down. Grinning, Mama went on saying, Daddy was good friends with his boss, the owner back then, and he always showed me off and told me he was proud. I couldn't remember her ever saying she was proud of me, and I did way more than illegally drive a tractor. But as usual, I gulped back my bitterness. Right now, my mama's manners were as sweet and sticky as the juices in the oranges, and I was going to drink up as much of it as I could. Our visits to Bruckner Groves often left me breathless. Mama brought us back here to relive good times from her past, times when she was her happiest. But sometimes, the further Mama slipped back into time, the more kinks and knots formed in my belly. Because sometimes looking back on good times just made Mama look at how things were now and decide it wasn't good enough, not good at all. I'd ache from not knowing what the rest of the day would bring. I hated the feeling of not knowing what would happen next. It felt like that ride at the carnival that went around and around, speeding up until it threw you up against the wall and the floor fell away. Yeah, with Mama, I never knew when the floor would fall right out from under us. Several deep inhales and exhales later, I could finally feel my heart rate slow, but I still chewed on my lip. I should have been grateful. Our little family was whole again. We've spent several weeks apart, the worst weeks of my life. Even so, in that moment, standing beside Mama, I didn't feel grateful. I felt frightened. Granny once told me losing Granddaddy when she was 14 pained Mama's soul so bad that something in her broke. She ain't been right since, Granny said. Sometimes it felt like Mama thought the same about me, like somewhere along the way I'd been broken, like my mind wasn't right. On that sunny day, however, Mama drew herself back from the shadows of reality and shared her version of love equally. She shook her long black hair and smiled at the orange grove where she'd been Daddy's little girl. She looked beautiful in her yellow sundress. Shades of green leaves, tree trunks straight as stripes, and drips of orange blobs like polka dots filled in the space around her. God, I love the way it smells out here. Oranges in the summer, Mama said. I didn't roll my eyes this time, so I felt proud of myself. She never noticed what an effort that was. Instead, I joined my siblings. We played and laughed, inhaling the thick, furry heat and lush scents. Mama split open an orange with her nail, and the juice ran down her arm. Then she made her eyes so googly as she licked it off, and laughter poured from our hearts till we hurt from how good it felt. Just me, 5-year-old Liliana, and 8-year-old Lamar, and Mama. None of her hanging out friends, none of the dudes she ran around with, just us. For just a little while, we were enough. My insides cramped with longing. Could we be this way all the time? I knew the answer, though. We couldn't. Mama called out to me as Lamar growled like a monster and chased her. Sharkita, come on. I ran to catch up with her and the littles, my babies. I didn't want to think about how sometimes after Mama had a fun day in the sun, remembering, she'd go home and swim into a black pool in her soul, thinking about all the good times she lost because of having a father who died unexpectedly, grieving the future she was cheated out of because of having a baby too young, me, Sharkita. The fear swelled up inside me, an awful feeling, like being sucked into the jaws of a shark, squeezed in its belly. My nightmare, well, my biggest nightmare, I had several. All I wanted was to hold my family together. I didn't want to ever lose my brother and sister again. I wanted to keep us all together, but sometimes, no lie, I had to wonder if things were better without Mama. So if you'd like to find out more about Sharkita and her home life and what goes on in Shark Teeth, then come visit us in the children's department or give us a call and we can put Shark Teeth on hold for you. Bye, friends.